Welcome back to Streamline Investigations, more Streamliner messages. We had a lot coming through, so I thought I'd do it in two parts so we can really analyse what people are actually saying. So Robert says, people, I'm getting the feeling that Gus was taken by Benjamin under Jessica's orders. Get him away from the property, wasn't harmed, just taken from that hellhole. Joshua may have planned it too. Driven off in that unregistered blue car, later dumped the car and had a backup car when he left the blue car to be found, and drove off. At this stage, a second person with Ben, e.g. Jessica or Joshua. The disappearance of Ben stumps me, and this is my thought, and this is my thinking: is he involved or isn't he? Or has basically Robert got hold of him? You know what I mean? Silencer guns. Maybe someone is supporting him because he can't get welfare. It's only one of my thoughts. Either that or Robert Josie shot him with the silencer. Yeah, my way of thinking on this as well. When he returned to Yunta or at Joshua Other's house, it might be far-fetched, but we don't know what curves are turning in Robert Josie Murray's brain. Being a transitional being, it's a sign of mental disorder in this case. We just have to soldier on and wait and see. Yeah, definitely, that is a very good point, and nothing is far-fetched in this case. Grace says, you think the family would hold a vigil for him knowing that he had passed? This is a bit worrying to me, like there's no compassion towards him. We have no emotional connection to Gus. They don't speak of him in a loving way, except we miss him. Bring back nothing about him personally, i.e. when he linked doing his favourite toy, anything which is a strange in itself. Yeah, definitely. I totally agree. Okay, everyone, I got heads up around my city of Julian Ingham. He wanted over a death of 3 people and an unborn child in the state of Central West since January 2026. There is an arrest warrant out for him. Following inquiries, officer commenced a strike, forced to investigate the incident and issue an arrest warrants for Julian Ingham. 3 people are all death, including unborn child, age 50, 19 years old, 25-year-old and 30-year-old man. Thanks, everyone. Please take care wherever you are. Thanks, Marvin. Thank you very much, Maggie. Appreciate you and your support. Really good point in what you said, Grace, about the family's care for Gus. Having a silencer could be a serial killer, definitely. And we don't know if Josie has done anything like this before, or it's been covered up. Pretty Farmer maybe they are looking for Desi. Interesting. Very, very interesting. That could possibly be true. Still no sign. Not no sign. Good point. Why would the grandparents be there? Law enforcement is searching the property. Thank you. Move on to John Taylor, who says, who's paying for the ladyboy's sex changed Gus? And like I said, is it possible that Josie had been to Thailand before? Baldry 23 Jar, Gledstone, not too sure what that means. Bambi Samba, if you could basically get that changed over so we could understand it, that would be absolutely brilliant. Thank you. Robert says, probably another trying to confuse or manipulate the case. There are too many criminals-minded people working the case, and you never know if it could be someone within the authorities too. Yeah, definitely. Or someone that Robert knows in high-profile cases. Josie is a drinker and gets very aggressive. Yeah, I could definitely see that due to the way Chris, good point, Robert, due to the way Chris, that he treated that reporter, which was completely bang out of order. I said at the beginning to watch this statement change each time. Yeah. And I think the police picked up on it. I think there was so much going on in the case. I think the police going back through things and going back to the to Oak Park Farm New Year's Eve says it all, to be honest with you. Robert goes on to say, there is more of a chance that if Gus had passed, it would be by medical condition than by an accident, e.g. leukemia, both because his skin was very fair and looked anemic. The eye colour is black, and usually he could be pre-epileptic or his type 1 diabetes. I say this because I've studied medicine, done first aid because I need to know for my job. And when I was in the military, I'm not a doctor. Yeah, that's a really, really good point. That is a really good point. And as well, Robert, are we looking at the same person? We may not, you know, are we looking at the same person? Because like I said, even I was talking to Don, he said basically that a video of young Gus, it didn't really completely look like the one that we saw the photo of. And it could have been a few months apart, you know. You know, that video with the old one, it could have been a lot older. I know how you feel. I was a nurse in my city of the injuries. I have since I was a child. Take care. Yeah, that's a really good point, Robert, and thank you, Maggie. This doesn't make sense at all. Why would they hide Gus if it was a medical episode? The reason he is hidden is because one or more adults or present would be charged for the death, either from an accident death due to access to the dangerous place of psychiatrically harmed. Yeah, that's a good point. Very good point indeed. Ben's photo says, translated, the inheritance belongs to Jessica Murray rather than the farm being bought together or alone. Very, very interesting because, like I said, inheritance is everything. Thanks, says Bambi Samba. Doctor is Nivan Shrubber. Bambi Samba. You could do it in English. That would be brilliant. Thank you, sweetheart. This inheritance doesn't. Your comments translated. Oh, the inherit doesn't belong to Shannon or Robert, does it? The farm belongs to both of them, and Jessica has her share too, right? Yeah, definitely. And this is why maybe she's not talking about Josie in bad pretense, because, like I said, until we really hear from Jessica and her true thoughts, we'll never know. I'm not sure. Some say Josie is the owner, even though it is Shannon's inheritance, and that Jess becomes the heir, and Gus should inherit. Since I don't really know what applies, some people say Josie and Shannon are separated now. This case is mysterious, and I think it's about foul play. That's a really, really good point. Thank you for that. Thanks for translating, Vensvero. I don't live in Australia, but I translated your comment and will tell Ali and Marvin to translate them and read them. I have not seen these names mentioned before. Who is the man with the mobile shooter? Is it a game? Tell me where you can see this. Could you please write in English so that Ali and Marvin can read this? Yeah, really, really important, Vensvero. That we do get the answers from Bambi. Ali and Marvin read these comments from Bambi. It's so sad and beautiful. The sweet child is making me cry. When I read and see the little ones playing outside, I wonder how you can just disappear like that. I think, but I'm not sure. The man with the mobile shooter or TV retired is Keith Noble, a boy that young could easily have joined. The man is old, and the blue car of the Benjamin type is very strange. He did it in the Cut Snakes. I'd imagine that says he was in the Cut Snakes, the band. And what also finds suspicious now is that John Nobles, the car dealer, is also on YouTube with blue cars. I think they should investigate that too. I think John Noble should visit his father in Yunta. You can ask around. Interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. If you can get as much information, Ven's very pretty firewall girl, that'll be absolutely brilliant. Yeah, have translate to English in comments. All good. No need to translate. It clogs up messages. Yeah. Thank you very much, girls, for that. Funk Me 67 said they have been cooperating with the police, but all questions have been asked via lawyer once an investigation turns to crime. Thank you for that. News recently said the grandparents have stopped cooperating with the police. The only time you stop talking to the police is because you were involved with the crime. Yeah, definitely. Or you feel uncomfortable that the questions are asked. That's a really good point. The news must be true, right? Question mark. Reported that the grandparents stopped cooperating with the police, but that alone doesn't mean they're involved in crime. It's many investigations. People stop speaking to police on the advice lawyers and police, or because the case becomes legally sensitive. It's more legal system individuals have right to remain silent and consult an attorney. That is a legal protection, not evidence of guilt. What matters is what the investigators actually prove. Through evidence, lawyers often advise clients not speak in further ones or investigations become serious. People may worry they would be misinterpreted or used out of context, like what everyone is doing now. Investigations sometimes shift from witness interviews to formal legal proceedings. So the key point is stopping cooperating is not a proof of former. Only evidence presented by investigators of court can establish that. It's all important to remember that early media reports are sometimes incomplete, inaccurate. News outlets often report developments quickly, and details can change as more verified information comes out. That's why it is best to wait for confirmed facts from investigators rather than relying on speculation. Media says anything for a story. I mean, you did make some good points there, but like I said, what you've got to realise about the family, they could have said a lot more early on. I'm not basically, they don't need to tell us everything, but what they could have done is said, come out and said, look, I don't really know where Gus is or what's happened to him. We'd like to see their genuine points, which we haven't done. We haven't done that. Maggie says, well, tell a timeline of Gus was last alive and the hat and shoe theory is a match. Hopefully that would be questioned with the police. Yeah, I totally agree with you there. That's a really good point. Any little thing in this case, Maggie, is very, very important. Here's a reply here. The first comment I saw regarding where Gus was seen was in a park he entered with family members and a girl probably a little older. Next comment is a local hospital due to health problems and sore throat was mentioned also with family members about 2 to 4 days earlier before Gus went missing. In the last comment, Gus was seen with family member at Port Pirie. These observations were during the week before he went missing. As far as I understood, according to the comments I saw, depends on which each of these was posted and also which place he was seen first. Parking Yunta was mentioned first. I think between September the 19th and 20th and September the 26th, 27th, these days, in my opinion, based on the comments I saw and read. Interesting. So there's a possibility that Gus was seen the day before he went missing and then nearly a week before. Because anything's possible. But like I said, it's just funny that other people are not coming forward. I find it really bizarre. Thank you, Vens Voto, and thank you, Maggie. I do think we're all up to date. Make sure I haven't missed anyone, people, any important messages. I do think we need to be going on this case. I just got a funny feeling there's going to be other characters that are going to come out in this case. Here's a reply here. Hey, Robert, could the type of property you're thinking of be Spring Dam Station? Interesting. Martin, my favourite Martin one says. Yeah, that's an interesting one. More properties we don't know about. Or hidden properties, should I say. I think I'm up to date. Let's just go back to the top on this one, people. So we're all up to date on the messages. I thought I'd do them in 2 parts, people, so we can really analyze what is actually being said out there. But like I said, if anyone's got any information on anybody else that could be staying at the property, we've heard, there could be a nanny that was supposed to be looking after the children. That's been mentioned as well. I think I've missed a comment here. Oh. The problem is nothing I think can be ever far-fetched in this case. I really do think that. Maggie says, I still want to know who the woman is who spoke out regards what she saw when the neighbours are KMS away. I think that someone is talking behind the scenes. They would come for her. Well, who is there? No results, no gender to this case. That is a really, really good point. Other people talking, but are they being silenced? That is one of the main things. There's a reply to this. Josie is a drinker and gets very aggressive. Probably, I just want to go back to what Robert said here. Probably another trying to confuse and manipulate the case. There are too many criminal-minded people working in this case, and you never know. It could be the one with authorities too. Yeah, because I keep saying, I've always said it, I think Josie, one of the reasons why this case wasn't cracked is because maybe Josie has got things on other people in high places. True crime Leslie post was intriguing indeed. Thank you very much for that. Seeing the channel really talks some sense as well. Oh, here's a reply here. So what I found on this Luke Dighton in Perth, he ran men's clubs, got shut down in 2008, spiritual leader, talking crazy talk, went from looking fit to looking like he needs a mental health check. Apparently his parents lived at the home to Perth into moving out. Could Robert be a sovereign citizen of claims the title JP before he goes by bush law? Who is the sheriff that gets mentioned in Yunta? That's a really, really good point. We are really digging deep now. Desi's okay, he didn't kill those cops. He had been set up, and that was Robert talking about an older case there. He has mentioned that to me. Thank you very much. Reply here. Oh, yes, Grace again. Wouldn't you be saying at the start he would be tired, cold, hungry, anything, worrying about what he must be feeling? We never got any of that. Yeah, definitely. It seems like it was AI generated, Grace. It really, really does to me, and that is a really big red flag. You to catch up on here, people. So Justin G says, I think this may be plausible, except for Jessica knowing. I can imagine that she would allow her parents to be charged or investigated for a possible murder or her child, etc., unless something terrible had happened to Gus, like an assault. I then told Joshua, and your scenario would then be a possibility. Remember, Jess left with a baby Ronnie a day or 2 days after Gus went missing, also dealing with her postnatal depression, the knowing what her father had done. She would be in a basket case or not able to speak publicly. It sadly should be hypothesis, but I guess that all we can do until the truth is revealed. Yeah, I agree. I think there's so many scenarios we can go down, but what we do know, there were 3 people on that property, and someone knows something. Josie definitely knows something. TS says no, because there's no connection between Ben and Joss. Ben was not in the band. They do not know each other, simply as that. The blue car was registered, given up on Ben and Gus Link. Yeah, thank you for that. I'm still not 100% sure. I think there's a possibility that they could. I really do. We can't write anything off in this case, but we need more proof. I agree with you there. Reply here, just I also speculated that because this whole family is not just playing ball, this is not a natural missing persons case. Normally people with missing friends or loved ones do not act in the way. The internet searchers can not find Gus unless he's himself logs in somewhere or goes to hospital, or opens up a new bank account, or can be tracked to be, unfortunately, he's too young. So the mystery deepens. Well said. And we are none the wiser. And all we can do is surmise and create scenarios on missing cases, what is needed in the case, and as a high-profile investigative lawyer or new correspondent reporter with full investigative credentials, license only, and doubtful taxpayers have to foot the bill. They can put the reward out because there are too many people involved, and they will be stepping on each other's toes and pointing fingers. Totally agree. That is a really good point. Jocelyn Zhu says, well, they may be in the case only. I'm sure that it was reported that Ben actually worked on a station at one time, but still everything else, we have to acknowledge it only as a hypothesis and not state as a fact. Will we ever know? Question mark. I pray we do. Yeah, that's a really, really good point. Wow, someone's getting very defensive here. If they know what really happened, yes, Ben was with the band. I have a photo with him and Joshua Lamont because in the band birthday party, sorry. Thank you very much for that, Robert. I know that you've sent me some information on that at the end of the day. I mean, yeah, we've got to go through all the questions, but like I said, I think people don't want us to find out that there was a connection between the two because we might crack the case. Pretty Fireball Girl says, did you Google Luke Dighton's Perth? Check on his son with red curly hair and the baby looks like Ronnie. The wife is the French lady. Very interesting indeed. I'll take a look at that, sweetheart. No, but I will, says Robert. Thank you very much. Agree, but Ben could be friends with Luke in Perth. Was he in these men's clubs that got shut down in 2020? Spiritual cults, sovereign citizens, activist. Really good work, Pretty Flywheel Girl. Reply here, the first to point this out months ago, but Ben in the band. But it is Ben or Ben's brother. Luke from Perth's brother is also a country musician. Interesting stuff. Thank you very much for that. Interesting how much information is coming people about people in the band and other people that know band members as well and brothers. This is why I said this is all connected, and like I said, we have to keep going because like I said, there's so much we don't know. Pretty Firewood Girl says his sister Ellis, who they named Jemima, that lived in her $1 million home in Fremantle, has her identity sealed from the Mossman Park murder. The father and stepfather, Ellis' partner, were not hidden, but last names they have. Why would the sister, who had just lost his brother and sister-in-law and nephews to allegedly suicidal murder, been hidden from the public? Legal reasons, past crimes. A new identity comes from months. Father or mother all entitled to lead government past and present employees. She could also be under investigation from the Cultish app they developed. Found a link, though. ABC latest Doko or Nanup WA 2007 Satanic Spiritual online call. 2 men, 1 very young lady and a daughter just vanished. Also Steve on the male's real name is Gary. Why is it Gary being named Stephen, but the other 3 names have not been sealed? Saying that they must have been only Gary has been identified as Gary, not Steve. Interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. It's one of them you have to really look at it detailed, switch the TV off and look at what Pretty Flywheel Girl says because that's quite deep. I am on holiday at the moment, but like I said, I will look into this a bit deeper. I think we are. I don't think I've missed anyone out. Really good stuff from Robert, and I do think that we're on. Thank you, Madeline Post. Thank you, Justin Zhu, and thank you, many of the full members and the streamliners for your constant, basically, knocking down the door on this case. And Pretty Flywheel Girl, thank you for your input as well. And like I said, all of those who come forward, thank you very much with information that is crucial. And it's not easy. It takes time to get it all together. Appreciate you all. Thank you.